Hey guys, Jimmy here and welcome back to RF2 for another video. Now, truth be told, I was trying to set up this car here in a nice little shot for a nice opening sequence, but then it started to explode, so I thought it'll be a pretty good representation of what is included in this video. This, for those who don't know, is the recently released URD Shiro PX1 or P1. Basically a very true-to-life representation of the GTR-LM, which took part in the 2015 WE season, or was meant to, but only really took part of Le Mans and sort of sucked. Now, truthfully, I actually really liked this car. I really wanted it to succeed because of what it was, a radical design, a front-wheel drive even, with the rear-wheel drive hybrid, being controlled by a hybrid, I should say. And I was definitely a Nissan fanboy for that particular Le Mans. It was a real shame to see it, the program go the way it did. There's a fantastic video on the GTR-LM by my good buddy Southpaw Racer, which I will link in the description. I really recommend you check that out because it's fantastic. What I'm going to be doing is taking it around Sebring, that's where I am right now, and seeing how close I can get to my lap times that I raced in the VEC season in the Audi. Now, my sort of average lap time in that was a 40.5, 40, 39.5, that sort of area in the race anyway. So I'm going to run out on race fuel. I've also moved the torque split to this car to 70-30, meaning that 70% of the torque will be going through the front tyres and 30 through the rear to try and simulate that front wheel drive / hybrid thing going on. Anyway, I'm going to do about 4 or 5 laps with a spotter on, so you'll get an idea of my lap time, and yeah, let's see how we do. So then, welcome on board to the GTR-LM with my sort of patented window licker perspective. On an outlap now. Already an awesome feature of this car is the sort of front mounted exhaust, so when we shift down we get a nice lick of flame, which is always cool to see. Now look, this car is running with no setup at all, apart from the torque split I mentioned. It's running with default setup because I haven't changed anything really, and so the lap times I don't think are going to be as competitive, but I'll be interested to see how it sort of matches up. Now, this car, it does handle very differently from how you'd expect the other cars to handle when you talk about the four-wheel drive of the Audi that we had in the last season with the rearward torque split. This is a lot more understeery, especially on power, as you'd expect, but it's very fast in a straight line. Obviously this car was almost going to have no wing at Le Mans. That's how little drag this thing produced. It was a very slippery car. It wasn't meant for the corners of Sebring really. It was really a Le Mans special. Doesn't mean though it wouldn't be any good at other courses, hopefully anyway, for the sake of this video. But yeah, just winding it up now, getting the car nice and warm. Sebring, a track that I sort of actually like quite a bit now, to be honest. I used to dislike it on the basis that I was bad at it at Forza, and now I've driven it a lot in RF2 and iRacing, and I've definitely come to love it. Anyway, let's shut up. Let's get into the mindset of doing a hot lap up into 6th gear. Only 6 gears in this car, or in this mod anyway. I'm not sure if that's true to life or not, but I'll have a look at that later. Coming down to Sunset Bend, down to 3rd gear, trying to find my apex, missing it massively, and then just very neatly getting on the throttle out there to start our first flying lap. Now T1 in this car is horrible regardless, but let's see if we can get it right. Right down to 5th gear, no, down to 4th gear. There you go, let it run out wide. Lift up a bit early there just to control the traction coming out the corner. We're nice and slow with the downshifts. The car does like to spin. You brake too hard. Nice and easy. On the throttle, you can use a lot of curbs in this car. It's to gobble up the curbs, which is nice. Oh, getting the grass a bit there. Now coming down to the hairpin. Have to brake quite early in this car, just before the 300. See that I actually got that a bit wrong, but we just about got around. Just a matter of the car maybe not being warmed up completely, but you get an idea of how the car reacts under extreme braking. It likes to come around at the rear first, even with a very forward-based brake bias. I think that's a 70-30 as well, actually, to be honest. Because the massive old front tyres in this thing. Not as much grip in the rear, so we're seeing the rear slide a lot. Even with that front-wheel drive pull to get us round, just completely murder that tower turn, tower bend, whatever it's called. I hate that corner in any car or any track. I hate it. Nice flowing section here. It's very fast in the Audi. Audi did a very nice change direction. This is a bit more sluggish at the front, as I'd expect. It really does have a nice kick out the corner. It really does go very quickly. I did some straight line speed tests at the mile. I was hitting 350 k's quite easily. But this isn't about straight line speed, just about cornering. So this is our first hot lap with the mistake at the hairpin. Let's see what sort of time we put in, shall we? Border's going to tell me it is a...
That was a 1:44.46.
Not too quick. Good 4 seconds off where I was in the Audi. Don't expect to be with the Audi on pace, but I'd like to be a bit closer than that. We can put in a bit of a better lap this time, shall we? To sort of try and anticipate the understeer of the car when I get onto the throttle. So it might seem that I'm getting on the throttle in weird places, but it's just because I know the car's going to understeer on the throttle, push out from the corner. I reckon it's better this time, learn from the last lap. Can't really see the curb, but I think it's about there. The car really shoots out the corners. It's quite a fun experience. Well, what could have been with the GTR, eh? What could have been? They just kept the program and not just bummed it off after one failed attempt. That's not what Le Mans is about. Made me quite sad, really, especially all the hype they put behind it. Basically, it's a racing car equivalent of the Division. Hype, and then it's just not very good. Okay, nice and easy flat curbs here and here, so you can use those a bit. When you come out wide here, try and find the entrance to the corner, just running over the curb, using all of it, both inside and out. Sunset's the most difficult in this car because the car just wants to wash at the front, as you can expect of this sort of car. Oh dear, there it is. And I've just gone far too deep into that. It's going to cost me probably about half a second or so. We'll do a couple more laps, see if we can go any faster. What's this going to be?
That was a 1:42.89.
42.8, that's a lot faster than the last lap. Oh, just really brushing that wall there, and as a result, having to get off the throttle mid-corner, slowing me down, but a very aggressive line there. Handles a lot differently, as you can imagine, from any sort of conventional racing car. Hence why the lines look weird, and they actually feel weird as well when I'm doing them. It's sort of having to teach yourself to break a habit almost when driving this thing around, especially with the front-based torque split, which I hope is enforced in this car when it had it to the VEC League, and I know it will do. I'm going to be very vocal in the forums about that. I hope that it can be balanced in a way that it can be used competitively. I know this car wasn't really going to be something that fought with the other P1s in the real life WEC, but I like to think that we as sim racers can sort of show it the potential it could have had. That was really awful, I was so through there. But show it the potential this car could have had, you know, and then adopt that into a sim. We get to sort of pick up where real life led off. Oh, I've gone. It's just abandoned this lap. It's interesting, the rhythm at Sebring. It's quite easy to brake. I found it a lot easier to keep in the Audi because the front end was a lot more predictable. Here it's just like, I don't know, dragging it round, and then you have to convince yourself to get on the throttle quite early to make sure the car keeps going, turning in. That's a characteristic of front-wheel drive driving. Like if you're going around a hairpin, you want to always have some throttle on the car.
Was a 1:43.55.
Just to make sure you make the turn. There, for example, I wanted to get off the throttle because I was going too fast, but I had to get back on the throttle to make sure I got pulled around there. It's essential, or I would have just went wide and crashed. Or wider, I should say there. Now I expect, you know, a lot of the time that we aren't getting is due to the track not being as rubbered in as it was in the race, and also bear in mind the car had a lot of setup work done to it. This has just had absolutely nothing apart from the torque split change to where I think it should be. Optimum line out of there. So I don't expect it to be close, but we'll see. We'll call this as the last lap, I think, as long as it's clean. We'll see how close it is there, so I don't make a mistake. Going through Cunningham. Bit Collier, who cares? I think it's Cunningham. This corner can blow me. I'm so bad through there. Yeah, that's the sort of line I would take in the Audi, because I wouldn't be used to it understeering that much. Do it in this and it just doesn't really work. Oh dear, that's a bad line. Dear me. Okay, next lap will be last lap. I don't want to have this as my last lap. You're getting an idea now of the handling characteristics of this car, and it's very interesting. It's quite refreshing to drive. I mean, you can also see why it didn't really work, but from a racing fan point of view, I like diversity, and this really is that. So we'll try for one more lap, shall we?
That was a 1:43.40.
Obviously, I'm still sort of new to the car, so I'm not really as consistent as I could be right now. That's what this sort of car is about. It's about getting that consistency down. So just smashing the throttle there into fourth, fifth, and then we'll be into sixth in a second for a very brief period. Brake about 350. Down to first gear. Aim for the inside curb, can't really see it. Slowed out of there. This is a prime place for overtaking GTs coming down to here. Wouldn't like to try it in this car actually. I wonder what this car will be like in traffic. Probably a lot more difficult than the Audi. But I guess you'll get used to driving it and it will become more predictable. Take this corner. Take a lot more speed through there, but I don't think the car's set up right. It feels very difficult braking. Coming off that sweeping left-right before there. Bit better through there. Oh, understeer on the way in. So bad on the way out. The thing does pick up very quickly though. The punch up the corner is undeniable. The traction control is pretty nice. It does the job without interfering massively. There's a lot to be said for a front-wheel drive car. Very tight line around Sunset that time. Hitting the limiter in third. And that's going to be a
42.88.
42.8. I'm pretty sure I could go a little bit faster, maybe a 42.5. But you're getting the idea. You know, I'm about a second and a bit, 2 seconds or so off a lap off what I did in the Audi in VEC. And I'm really interested to see how this car is integrated as I hit one of the ARB buttons there by mistake. I really hope it gets put into VEC and it's balanced well. I would love to drive it at this point just because it's a car that I've always wanted to see a representation of. Ever since I heard of its first being put together, I always wanted to sort of get in it and drive it in the sim. And this is a pretty good version of it, I've got to say. So well done URD for finally delivering what you promised you'd give us probably about a year ago, but it's here now. And yeah. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. If you did, make sure to hit that like button, do all that good stuff. And subscribe, of course, to be notified of future videos. Take care, guys, and I'll see you all next time.